Isaiah 40:31. It says, but they that wait upon the Lord, they shall renew their strength. They will mount up upon wings as eagles, run and not be weary, walk and not faint. Then David penned over in Psalm 40, verse number 1, and said, I waited patiently on the Lord, and he heard me. I want to talk to you and your family for the next few moments. Just during this pandemic, I asked the Lord, what would we share? And he said, Tommy, I don't want you to preach over their heads. I don't want you to hoop and holler, but I want you to talk directly to them and give them a word for the season. I want to preach for the next few moments from the thought, I've been on pause for too long. Yeah, go ahead and put that on the screen. I've been on pause for too long. Growing up at the top of 1990 to a single mother and the oldest of my siblings, previous generations, they would say that 1990 in the mid 90s were the days where kids were kids. There were the days when children were children. I can remember being ready to get out of school, not to go and get on Snapchat, not to go and get my Apple iPhone, not to go and get on TikTok and record dance videos, but I couldn't wait to get out of school because that was the time where children actually played outside. And the last day of school, that's what we all desired to do, was to get out of school so we can play and play all day. That's when we played games like red light, green light, hopscotch, jumping jacks in the middle of the street, football in the middle of the street, going to the basketball court, hide and go seek. The early 90s was a great time because there was a time where we did go outside, but then getting around 90, 96, 97, we had two devices that came out that kept us entertained. And it was the video gaming system, Nintendo 64, and the DVD player. The Nintendo 64, my brothers and I would be in the room all day playing Donkey Kong, Madden, NBA, any game you can think about, we had it. And then when we got tired of playing the game, we would go into the living room, pop in a DVD, and watch any movie of our choice. The significance about the Nintendo 64 and the video game and the DVD player, if you will, was not that it had a play button to keep us entertained, not that it allowed my mom to have her alone time, not the fact that it had a stop button that when we were done, we could pack it back up, but they both had a button called pause. Pause was so powerful and significant because it allowed us to be bougie. Pause allowed us to be able to multitask. That means that if I started the game and when I got to a certain part, I could pause it and go and do something else. That means that if I got to a certain part in the game and I wanted to go downstairs and make me some Kool-Aid, we didn't have flavors. It was only red. And I was able to stop the game, go make some Kool-Aid, and come right back where I left off. That was the power of the pause button. That's what we thought at the beginning of March our lives were going to be. We thought that we were going to be on pause just for a moment and get right back to our regularly scheduled program. Many of us, we even said that we needed a little break because we've been working for days and for months. Those of you that serve in your church and you serve on multiple ministries, you even said, I can take a Sunday and not be in church. But what happens when you've been on pause for too long? Going back to the video game and the DVD player, and even here at 2020 Netflix, if you put the game or the DVD player on pause for too long, what happens is it will go to sleep. Not only will it go to sleep, but it will restart and reset. And I believe that in this pandemic, that we thought that we were going to be on pause for 7 days. Then 7 days turned to 10. Then 10 turned into 14. 14 turned into 30. And now we're uncertain. There's an indefinite time. But I can tell you that when you've been on pause for too long, that is the place where God will reset you and restart you. That's what I came to minister to you and your family. Cody, do you believe that this pandemic was of the Lord? I believe that God is sovereign. The Bible says in Isaiah that he worketh the ending from the beginning. Having that said, nothing gets past God. We serve a God that does not slumber or sleep. But I do believe that in this pause season where we are, that it is a plan of God. It is the plan of God to get us back on course, to reset us, to restart us, to relaunch us and catapult us into the 7 mountains of influence of the world. I believe that this pause is going to allow us to, number one, get back in the presence of God like never before. Yeah, get back in the presence of God like never before. Psalm 91:1 says, he that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. And I believe that this is the time where you're in quarantine, where you are able to get back in the presence of God. Yeah, the car that you have right now, you got it through the presence of God. The quality of your marriage is what it is right now because of the presence of God. That's when you had time to pray and to seek God. For the Bible says in Matthew 6:33, but seek ye first the kingdom of God and all of his righteousness, and all of these things will be added unto you. You've gotten things in the presence of God, but can you be honest? From 2019, even at the top of 2020, you've been busy with the cares of life. Getting up, getting the kids ready for school, going to work, being at work for 8 to 10 hours a day, serving at your church to the best of your ability. Could this be that God needed to cause a global pandemic to get you back in his presence? I came to tell you that even from my personal eyes, I've seen people on their knees that I never saw on their knees before. God is getting his church ready. God is getting us back in the presence of God. Take this pause time to get back in the presence of God. Point number 2, this is what the Lord told me to tell you, that this pause is very critical because it's going to allow you to get your priorities together. Oh yeah, tell somebody in your house, I'm getting ready to get my priorities together. Even me, I've been in the place where I live since the month of November, December, and I have never been to the grocery store until now. I'm learning now the importance of going grocery shopping. I'm learning the importance of being able to save money. And I will even take some of the things that I'm learning now in quarantine into the place where we will be when we come out of this. But I believe that this pause is going to cause you to get back in the presence of God. It's going to cause you to get your priorities together, to understand what and who is important. Husbands and wives, that they're rekindling their marriages. I speak that over you. Brothers and sisters, that they're rekindling their friendships, learning each other all over again. I speak that over your house. Not only getting into the presence of God, not only getting your priorities together, but I believe that this pause is going to allow you to write and rewrite your vision. The Bible says, write the vision, make it plain, make it so plain and make it so big that he that readeth it will run with it. And I believe that in this time of quarantine, in this moment of pause, that you will be able to develop your plan and add in the minor details. The truth be told, you put together a plan at the end of 2019 of what you wanted your 2020 to look like. But if the truth be told, because you were going here and there and everywhere, worrying about the cares of life and trying to make sure that your family was taken care of, you left out some of the minor details. Even in this quarantine time, the plan and the vision that you have for your life, God is going to give you fresh revelation. God is getting ready to give you a fresh plan. What happens when you have been on pause for too long? That is the point where the game system or the DVD player or even Netflix, it goes to sleep. Many of you can attest right now and put it on the screen that since we've been in quarantine, your sleep has been off. Where you would normally go to sleep between 8 and 10, you're now going to sleep between 2 and 5 and waking up at 7 just to do it all over again. Because the Lord is resetting you and the Lord is getting ready to restart you. I believe that this is the plan of God. I believe that 2020 is still going to be our year. I believe that 2020 is still going to be the year that you are going to hold the vision that God is giving you inside your hands. I really believe that. I believe that you're getting ready to walk into places that eyes have not seen, ears have not heard, neither has it entered into the heart of man. The great things that the Lord is getting ready to do in your life. They that wait upon the Lord, he shall renew their strength. They will mount up as wings like eagles. They will run and not be weary. They will walk and not faint. I can't end this message without letting you know Pastor Khalis, executive pastor at New Birth, he said, Tommy, don't preach the message and you don't tell them that eagles can see miles and miles and miles away. That I believe that in this time of pause, in this season of pandemic, that God is getting ready to clear your vision, that you're going to see full speed ahead, that you're going to see miles and miles away. You'll be able to see the adversary before the adversary even comes to your territory. And so I'm going to tell you that 2020 is still your year. Pastor, get ready for mass revival. I believe that there is a great revival that's getting ready to take place all over the world. Get ready for revival. I'm not talking about bringing in guest speakers to preach for 3 nights. I'm talking about a greater awakening. I'm talking about a greater awareness and a greater acknowledgement of who Jesus is. I believe that this revival, that we're going back to his name. I believe that we're getting ready for mass revival, but also we're getting ready for mass return. I believe that the backslider, I believe that the one that has become ease in Zion, that they are getting ready to return back to the house of God. Yeah, that family member, that cousin that you've been praying for. Come on, you can even put their name or their last name on the screen right now. I'm believing God with you that it's going to be a mass return. Not only a mass revival, not only is there a mass return coming, but I believe that there is a mass respect coming from the house of God, where no longer will enter into the house of God on autopilot. Come on, if you be honest with yourself, you've preached and you didn't study. You've sung and you weren't in the presence of God. You've played and you did not pray. You've been dancing and shouting, not because of the goodness of Jesus, but because the bump felt good. But I believe that there's getting ready to be such a reverence for the house of God that we'll be like David, enter into his gates with thanksgiving, enter into his courts with praise, be thankful and bless his name, for the Lord is good. Get ready for mass revival. Get ready for a mass return. Get ready for a mass reverence and respect for the house of God. What do you do when you've been on pause for too long? I believe that this is the plan of the Lord, to be able to restart you, reset you, so he can relaunch you and your ministry and your brand into the greatest days that you have ever seen. I appreciate you for staying with us in this time, for hearing the word of the Lord. Isaiah 40 and 30, 31, Psalm 40 and 1. They that wait upon the Lord, they will renew their strength. I've been on pause for too long, but it's the plan of God to reset you, to restart you, and to relaunch you. Father, I thank you for those that have heard the word of the Lord tonight. Father, I thank you that as a result of them being on pause, Father, I thank you that you're going to allow them to get into your presence like never before. I thank you that you are realigning their priorities. And I thank you that you are developing a greater plan for their lives. Father, you said in your word that there are many plans in a man's heart, but it's only the plan of God that will prevail. My brother, my sister, I don't know where you're watching from, but I'm believing God with you. The Momentum Gathering staff, we're absolutely praying for you. And we believe that in this time of pandemic, in this time of quarantine, that God is getting us ready for the greatest days that we have never seen before. I believe that many of you, even myself, while we have been in quarantine, I have gained and developed a new momentum for when the governor, when the president opens up the country, when it's needed, that we will go into the 7 mountains of influence and dominate like never before. Arts and entertainment, media, business, government, the church, education. I believe that we're gaining momentum to be able to dominate in those areas that God has called us to. Thank you for sharing with us tonight at the Momentum Gathering, and we want to see you again the next time we air.